opportunity.
Thank you.
And could we now have Linda Sunderland from the Comte Descendants group?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I'm Linda, and this is I'm the secretary of the Secretary of the Comte Descendants group, and this is Peter Bright, my chair person. So we've got the PowerPoint presentation to explain to the councillors what we've been trying to do with land cemeteries in Ecuador since 2010, since the first earthquakes, and despite all our efforts, we've found that we've actually got nowhere, so that's why we're doing a plea today with the long-term plan. Okay. So press this arrow button to that one. Okay, so we are the descendants of the French and German settlers who arrived in Ecuador on board the French ship the Comte de Paris in August 1840. At that stage, remember, the French government thought Ecuador was going to be the French colony in the south, but didn't quite happen like that. So obviously we're very passionate about the history of our ancestors and Ecuador. What we want to achieve with our cemeteries project is to repair the historic headstones. We wish to erect a memorial entranceway at the Catholic and Descendants cemetery. We would like to have some informative boards and signage put up in the cemeteries to help people that are looking for their ancestors and researching the history of Ecuador. And we would dearly love the maintenance of the Ecuador cemeteries to be improved. The reason for this importance and respect, we believe, is because 1840 Ecuador was established as the first formal European settlement in the South Island, 10 years before Christchurch. So obviously Ecuador is the cradle of the history of Canterbury and very important to Canterbury as a whole. A lot of the damaged headstones in these cemeteries relate to those early years of the Ecuador settlement. Some of the most influential and significant settlers of Canterbury are buried here: whalers, early English colonists pre-1840, French and German settlers amongst some of them. Many of these headstones no longer have family around to care for these plots and fund the repairs. The two that we've submitted to the council in 2012 for funded repair and are still waiting are for Jacob and Judith Wackerley and the Boreos. Both of those couples came out on the Comte de Paris and have no family left to look after their broken headstones. This is the current entrance to the Catholic and Descendants cemetery, and this is what we would like to replace with a memorial entranceway. As you can see at the moment, it's just a farm gate. It's on a diagonal to the road. It's a pedestrian entrance. The main vehicle entrance is down the side of that right-hand post, so we're not looking to create an entrance for vehicles. This is Jacob and Judith Wackerley's headstone. This is how it ended up in 2010 and is still like this, including the tree growing out in the plot. This is an information board in the Linwood Cemetery that was suggested to us by the City Council staff to adopt and adapt for Ecuador cemetery boards. We've got an idea of how we'd like to do this for the Ecuador cemeteries, but of course it hasn't progressed. This is a couple of slides of what the maintenance is like up there at the moment. This is another one of the early settlers' headstones that's still sitting there like that. This is a plan of our entranceway that we want to build. We've got to do a few final specifications, but we're just sitting ready and waiting to get the go-ahead from the council to be able to do it. The entranceway we would like to do is a mimic and a mirror of the St Patrick's Catholic Church, as you can see there, the wee entranceway, which coincidentally was built by my great-grandfather. He was one of the early Ecuador builders, and it would be lovely to see that mimicked up at the cemetery. From 2011 onwards, these were the promises that were made to us by the City Council. The first response from the City Council was in December 2010 when we wrote to the Mayor of the time, Bob Parker. We have been promised funding for repair of 4 settler headstones in 2012. We were promised assistance with drafting and completing information boards in 2015, assistance with resource consents for headstones in the memorial entrance 2015 again. Memorial entrance concept plan was handed to the City Council in 2016. Improved maintenance and new fencing and signage was also promised in 2015. None of this has happened. Following on from the promises that were given to us by the Council, we measured and submitted headstones to the Council for funded repairs. We identified and prioritised significant headstones needing repair or restoration. We've had formal plans drawn up for a memorial entrance, and we've drafted up the information boards. We have a subcommittee, we've got a specified financial account. We've maintained liaison with the City Council and other interested parties, such as the Ekarawa Men's Shed, who have offered to build the entranceway for us. And we're currently establishing a Friends of Ekarawa Cemeteries group to just keep pushing. Our frustrations are no progress, absolutely none. In fact, we feel like we're going backwards. The Cemeteries Master Plan 2013 hasn't been fulfilled. The Comte has done work based on unfulfilled promises. We've advised we cannot attend to our own family graves by the Council, but the Council is not doing this well. This is because apparently the soil may be contaminated. We cannot dig post holes for our new entrance as the soil is potentially contaminated. However, we've had our own specialist advice to say this can be done as long as we adhere to guidelines, which we're quite happy to do. We've been diverted from progressing the information boards in the meantime because we've been told by the Council staff that what we were given from the Linwood Cemetery is no longer the standard. So consequently, as you can see, we're feeling dismissed and sidelined when we have a lot to offer the Council and the community. The state of play now, the last Council meeting with the Comte staff meeting, not Council, reinforced that no immediate progress was planned, and this was a year ago. Actually, it was February 2017, not July. In the meantime, we offered to install the memorial gates on the current hinges, and were told, no, you can't do that because the entrance might be changed. We offered to fund the information boards with design assistance from the Council, but were told, no, the standard's now changed, but we weren't told a new standard or offered any other way of going about this. We followed up with the community board presentation, which Andrew thankfully was present at, and were advised by Council staff that they'd meet with us in 2 weeks. When the 2 weeks came along and I emailed and said, when can we meet? Oh, sorry, we have to wait now till the new financial year. And that's just what's been happening with us again and again. So we are supported very much by all the Ekarawa churches. The enthusiasm by the Catholic Church for the memorial entrance is very strong. We're also supported by the Garden of Tāne Management Committee because the Garden of Tāne borders on the cemeteries. We're looking at working the whole area as a combined historic and cultural area. Takapaniki Reserve is not far on the other side. We're supported by the Ekarawa Museum. We're supported by the Friends of Ekarawa Communities Group, which is currently being established, and we're building up numbers for that. So funding and facilitation, at the moment we're unable to go ahead with our fundraising because we actually need approval from the Council for our projects to put that in front of the funding organisation. We've offered to fund the memorial entrance and information boards. We're not asking for money, we're only asking for help to do what we want to do. This could be a really quick win for the City Council. You've got a very strong community group of people here who want to do something. We're really willing and able. We just want that partnership to do it. So please help us. restore and repair some of the most significant headstones in New Zealand's history, enable significant graves in history to be identified via information boards, provide respect and acknowledgement by maintaining the grounds. And these headstones, as I say, are some of the most important to Canterbury and New Zealand's history, not just to us and the locals. So at the moment the cemeteries are still open for burials, which makes it a lot easier because they haven't been closed as a heritage cemetery, which means that we're not as restricted with what we would like to do. The soil can be dug up for burials, so why are we being told we can't dig post holes?
Because the entrance might be changed.
So we're not allowed to look after our own plots, but the council staff aren't looking after them. We're frustrated, so we've come here to please ask for your help. Thank you.
Well, I think that was an outstanding submission. You know, the terminology that we're using for this year's long-term plan is we're in this together, and it's all about this exact sort of approach. I think the Chief Executive wants to have a quick look at this, don't you? Vicky?
And I think the local council would love to work with the Chief Executive on it so that we can get a result to some of these things.
Yep.
Can I just find out, how much were you actually seeking by way of financial contribution?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You don't want
We've
any
never
money?
asked for money.
We've been offered.
They want to fundraise.
We've been offered funding for some of the historic headstones in
Yep.
2012, but that hasn't come through. We were told by council staff they'd identified 11 to 13 historic headstones, and nothing's happened. We've offered to fund the memorial entrance ourselves. We've offered to fund the information board so we can get them done.
Can I just say
Thank
that was an outstanding submission, and I wish all of the submissions were like that. But
Thank you.
but no, look, thank you very much. And I think you know, you can hear from the councillors around the table that there's you know, there's nothing but admiration for what you're prepared to do, and I'm sure we would like to facilitate you to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I've got here, in case
Yeah.
anybody wants to have a look, it's our pamphlets regarding our group, so if anybody wanted a pamphlet.
Yep.
And also a wee summary of what we're asking for attached to the 2013 Cemeteries Master Plan, with all the promises in there that haven't been kept.
Tim, I'm going to let Tim have the final word for no reason other than I'm nice. Yep.
I'm just fascinated by the Catholics and dissenters. What's the dissenters? I love it. I think it's really good.
Oh, the dissenters.
Yeah, it's great.
Dissenters are
like a
anybody that
band.
aren't Catholic or Anglican.
Ah,
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you. Yeah.
Mainly Presbyterian. The Scots got into the dissenters cemetery.
Excellent.
Okay, I'll leave those there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers. All right, we now have a half-hour break, so